Welcome to Healthy Living. I'm Lori Johnson. A new report by the CDC says bats cause nearly 3/4 of all rabies cases in the U.S. Dogs and raccoons are other prime sources. 99% of people infected with rabies will die within a week or two of being bitten if they don't get treatment. To make matters worse, you can't always tell if an animal is rabid. Even rabid dogs aren't always aggressive and foaming at the mouth. Scratches and bites from bats are so teeny they can be smaller than the head of a pencil eraser. Doctors say if you're bitten by a dog, a raccoon, or even touched a bat, seek immediate medical attention. A rabies vaccine could save your life. Doctors also warn against approaching wild animals or unfamiliar dogs. Chemotherapy is standard procedure for many cancer patients, but good news for some. It's being taken off the list of treatments for certain breast cancer patients. The latest research shows for some people in the early stages of breast cancer, hormone therapy alone is just as effective as hormone therapy plus chemo.
The long-awaited study from the New England Journal of Medicine followed nearly 10,000 women for about a decade. It found most women with small tumors whose cancer had not spread to the lymph nodes did just as well with only hormone therapy as patients who received that treatment plus chemotherapy.
This is definitely good news. This study is something that we've been waiting for several years to give us some direction on where to go with patients.
Chemotherapy, while an effective cancer fighter, often causes serious side effects such as weakened immunity, bone loss, and other problems.
There's, of course, the issue with hair loss. There's the issue with nausea and vomiting, the ongoing fatigue, the changes it makes to your day-to-day how you feel.
If diagnosed with breast cancer, women should talk to their doctor about a genetic test to find out if they might benefit from just the hormone therapy, bypassing chemo.
When it comes to losing weight, the body can have a gender bias. According to one physician, hormone imbalances put women at a disadvantage. But women can possibly hit a hormone reset button and still shed those unwanted pounds.
After years of frustration, Lori Mazzone found a way to reclaim her high school figure. It helped her lose 11 pounds in just 3 weeks, followed by another 7, and she's not done.
I lost 4 inches off my waist. 4 inches in a month is unbelievable. I had not seen that kind of result in anything that I've done.
Lori balanced her hormones under the direction of gynecologist Sarah Gottfried, who lost 25 pounds when she first tried it on herself.
I started to share it with women in my practice, and the results were amazing. So women lost on average about 15 pounds. They dropped their blood sugar by 21 points. They lost 4 inches off their waist. We now have had 5,000 people go through this program.
If one or more of 7 key hormones is out of whack, forget about losing weight. But the good news is we can balance them with our fork.
Specific foods can disrupt hormone levels. That can be fixed by avoiding the disruptive food for at least 3 days. In her book, The Hormone Reset Diet, Dr. Gottfried lays out a 21-day plan for 7 weight-related hormones.
It was gradual. It wasn't like a shock to my system. It wasn't like, oh, okay, now you're off of all these foods at once, and it wasn't overwhelming. It was done in small little bits and pieces.
Starting with red meat and alcohol, which can raise estrogen.
Estrogen is what makes us feminine. It gives us breasts and hips. But when it's out of whack, when it's too high relative to progesterone, it's going to make you have weight loss resistance. You're not going to be able to lose weight no matter what.
There are substitutes.
When I would come home at night, I would get a wine glass and I would just fill it with seltzer and apple cider vinegar. I felt like I was drinking wine.
The next 3 days, add fruit to the off-limits list to reset leptin.
It's the satiety hormone, and that means it controls your hunger.
Then give up caffeine, which disrupts cortisol.
Cortisol is the main stress hormone, And when it's too high, it grows this muffin top. It just gives you belly fat that you can't get rid of.
So once I've come off the caffeine, I was sleeping like a baby.
Thyroid levels that are too high or too low can cause problems.
Some of the common symptoms are thinning hair, weight gain, typically 10, 20 pounds, fatigue, depression.
Eliminate grains to reset your thyroid.
I grew up in an Italian family and they serve you like a half a pound of pasta. So like, oh, I was dying. How am I gonna do that?
She did it by eating pasta substitutes like spaghetti squash or shirataki noodles. Next, avoid sweets to balance insulin.
The sugar cravings were completely gone after 4 days. And I was really addicted to sugar.
Abstain from milk products to reset your growth hormone.
Dairy, I thought would be hard for me because I like cheese so much. But I replaced it with hummus and I was fine. I didn't even miss it.
Finally, avoid environmental toxins like plastic and certain cosmetics to balance testosterone.
The average woman puts on about 515 synthetic chemicals every day on her skin.
After you've reset your hormones, you don't necessarily have to avoid these things forever. Every 3 days, add one back and see how your body responds, because everyone's different.
And then you feel like a blank canvas. And you're like, you've gotten rid of all these foods and you feel so great. And then you get to bring them back and see what happens, and that's kind of interesting.
When Lori resumed eating red meat, there was no change, so it's still on the menu. Dairy, however, brought a different result. She gained 5 pounds in just 3 days, a clear sign to stay away.
I felt like I was doing a science project on myself.
That was just the beginning.
I missed my caffeine, I thought. So I had a cup of coffee, and that night I didn't sleep. And that was it. I just never had it again.
So for women, hormones often dictate whether the body will burn fat or hold on to it. By replacing disruptive foods with healthy substitutions, we gain another weapon in the battle of the bulge.
Coming up, some health experts are raising a red flag about cholesterol-lowering statin drugs. Stay tuned.
Wouldn't it be great if you could just hop on a plane and fly to a third world country and hand out food and medicine to the needy? And wouldn't it be great if some of those people came to know Jesus as their Savior because of your help? And wouldn't it be great if you could help out people like this all around the world every day? Wouldn't that make you feel great? And what if you could do all of this without having to leave your home or write monthly checks? Well, you can. Partner with CBN and you can help spread the gospel all around the world and make it a better place. And when you sign up for Pledge Express, your contribution will be deducted from your bank account every month automatically. It's a safe and simple way to make a difference. Plus, wouldn't it be great to get life-changing teachings every month from Pat and Gordon? When you sign up for Pledge Express, you'll save time and money, and you won't just sit around and watch the world go by. You'll help change it for the glory of God. Now, wouldn't that be great?
When you care, souls are set free. When you give, lives are made new. When you share, eternal life begins. When we all come together to love, miracles happen.
Chances are you or someone you know takes a drug to lower cholesterol. Not only are these statins the most widely prescribed drugs in history, a growing number of doctors and patients have serious concerns about them. Here's why.
David Venables blames statins for ruining his life and killing his dream of a retirement filled with travel. He says taking the drug caused such severe walking and breathing problems, he's basically homebound.
Yeah, I have a disease that apparently is not going to get better, and it's progressive. I took the statin drug. It triggered something.
Although David felt great, his doctor prescribed a statin because he felt David's LDL, or bad cholesterol, was too high.
The first sign I had a problem, I woke up screaming.
Statin side effects include memory loss, confusion, and muscle weakness, which often go away when the patient stops taking the drug. Some statin users, however, say their problems are permanent.
There's a whole industry saying it's not from the statin drug. My doctor said, you have a systemic disease, the cardiologist who pushed this on me. You have a systemic disease. He said, but it's not from the statin drug. I said, well, what's it from? He said, I don't know.
David is one of thousands on the web and social media reporting devastating, even fatal reactions after taking a statin, to little avail.
You can't prove it, you can't disprove it, and no one will make money from studying it.
Cleveland Clinic cardiologist Leslie Cho worries stories like this might discourage overall statin use.
And so for us to say things like, oh, I think people are taking too much statin therapy, and for your viewers who desperately need cholesterol-lowering medicine because they had heart attack or stroke to then take themselves off would be a horrendous disservice.
She goes further, saying not only should patients stick with the drug, but that more should take it.
There's great evidence that if you have low cholesterol, you live longer, have less heart attack, less dementia, less stroke. And these cholesterol-lowering medicines have been studied in over 1 million people. Penicillin was approved based on 40 patients.
While proponents of cholesterol-lowering statins say medical evidence proves the drugs save lives, there are others within the medical community who say that research is deeply flawed.
In his book, Overdosed America, Harvard's Dr. John Abramson claims drug companies pay for the studies.
When the drug companies undertake research, their primary goal is to produce what's taken for knowledge that will increase their drug sales.
He says that control allows companies to keep the raw data secret and release only what makes their product look good.
There are significant differences between what's published in even the best journals and the data that exists in a primary form that you can only get access to in litigation. It's corporate secrets.
In short, he says doctors are being scammed.
They're looking at the story that's told by the drug companies, unverified, thinking that that's the real evidence.
Abramson recommends independent experts analyze all of the research before publishing the results to fix this problem. He also suggests that studies compare the results of taking the drug versus lifestyle changes.
Exercising routinely, not smoking, addressing the stress in your life, eating a healthy diet. That's probably about 4 times more important than the conversation about statins.
Abramson adds statistics show out of 83 users, statins prevent only 1 cardiovascular death and 1 non-fatal cardiovascular event out of 23 users.
I think we lower it too much. I think we lower cholesterol too much.
When it comes to heart disease, cardiologist Patrick Fratellone and other doctors want the focus moved from cholesterol to high triglycerides, a blood test often overlooked.
So when you eat a diet that is full of simple sugar, simple breads, pastas, high sugar fruits, your triglycerides go up.
When triglycerides go up, good cholesterol, or HDL, goes down. But both can be improved simultaneously.
So I usually put people on a low carbohydrate lifestyle, moderate fat, good fat from avocados, nuts, and seeds, lean protein, but I also put them on oils because omega-3 decreases the triglycerides. There is one supplement that decreases triglycerides called niacin.
Fred alone says raising HDL strengthens the heart and immune system. He recommends HDL levels around 50 and triglycerides at around 150.
So while most doctors agree statins are helpful for some patients, with all these questions, you should feel free to talk to your doctor about whether one is right for you. Coming up next, reversing diabetes without drugs.
It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Young people, millennials, are flocking to church.
It's not an exaggeration to say that we love to meet them and that we love to know their stories.
Come home to the Southern Gospel Station from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites. CBN Southern Gospel. Available now at cbnradio.com.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
Millsburg Falls man, come...
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Diabetes is 10 times more common today than just 50 years ago. But some people are reversing their diabetes, getting off their medications, and feeling great. Here's how.
Like millions of Americans, Janet Huffstetler felt diabetes ruining her life. Then she changed her diet.
I will tell you, I have never felt so good. I think having my body free of sugar and carbs and processed chemicals has made such a difference.
It's a far cry from the fear she felt 8 years ago when doctors first diagnosed her with diabetes. She saw what it did to her uncle.
He ended up on full dialysis and blind.
Diabetes is when there's too much sugar in the blood. The standard treatment is largely medication.
Janet's first doctor put her on medication that led to weight gain and depression.
And this kind of made me sluggish, it made me dizzy, it made me lethargic.
Daily life became a series of finger sticks, constantly monitoring her blood sugar levels. Believing there had to be a better way, she changed doctors.
I came home and Googled, and Dr. Westman's name kept coming up, and I was fortunate enough to get in to see him.
That appointment sent her to the nationally recognized Duke Lifestyle Medicine Clinic and Dr. Eric Westman, who helped reverse Janet's diabetes through his diet-only approach.
Diabetes and obesity is complicated. There are lots of factors that are involved, but most experts agree that it's the foods and the beverages that people eat that are the major cause for diabetes and obesity in the U.S. And so that should be the major focus of treatment.
Instead of treating the sugar in his patient's blood with medicine, Westman simply eliminates their sugar intake.
The program is tremendously successful if you do it.
Susan Hollowell did it and went from spending $400 a month on diabetes drugs down to $0.
I was insulin dependent, 5 injections a day. The third day of my diet, my blood sugar dropped to 150. And I asked Dr. Westman, what should I do about my insulin? I didn't want to go over. And he said, get off of it.
That was 3 months ago. Now she's 20 pounds lighter with greater energy than before. In addition to sugar, Dr. Westman's diabetes diet also limits starches like bread, pasta, and rice because they also raise your blood sugar. Surprisingly, the diet allows patients to eat fats, the unsaturated kind like olive oil and avocados, and saturated fat like coconut oil and butter. Although this diet may sound revolutionary, it's actually a throwback.
This is an old medical textbook from the year 1900, before insulin was discovered, advising physicians to put their diabetic patients on a low-carbohydrate, high-fat diet.
Dr. Westman tells his patients not to worry about eating saturated fat because the latest science reveals it does not cause heart disease.
So now we're in a phase of education, trying to get the word out on how the cholesterol in the blood and the heart arteries and all that do not get adversely affected by a high-fat diet.
So to avoid diabetes or reverse it, put the brakes on sugar and starch. It's not always easy, but well worth the effort.
Coming up, when it comes to common ailments, home remedies often do the trick. We'll show you some of them when we return.
Prophecy thousands of years old.
We were called to be a light to the world.
Being fulfilled today. Discover how. Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000.
We consider it our duty to reach out and help others around the world.
For a gift of $10 or more, you can own the acclaimed CBN documentary To Life. Just call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to cbn.com.
To treat a human, no matter what he is, which religious he has, which color he is, this is what I'm doing.
See how the people of Israel are fulfilling prophecy.
History is being written, and I want to be a part of it.
By sharing their knowledge.
In Africa, in Asia, in South America, in East Europe.
And their love.
This is how we work. This is us.
Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to cbn.com.
Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
As medical costs grow and the economy shrinks, more and more people are choosing to bypass the doctor and treat themselves. Is that a viable option for you? Check out these home remedies from a very reliable source.
For more than 100 years, patients from around the world have traveled to the Mayo Clinic for treatment. Now, for the first time, the famous facility is handing out do-it-yourself tips. Dr. Philip Hagen is the brains behind the Mayo Clinic Book of Home Remedies.
If someone has to come to the doctor, it's often going to cost $50 or $100 or $150. If they have to go into an emergency room, it may cost a lot more than that, $200, $300, $500. And that's a lot for anybody to pay.
Hagen asked his fellow Mayo physicians to list the most common things that their patients could take care of themselves. Topping the list, allergies and their causes, from seasonal pollens outside to irritants inside the house, like dust, pets, and mold.
Try to figure out what it is that you're reacting to, and often people can do that based on the time of year or the fact that they've got a pet. The second thing is to try to avoid the things that set off those allergies.
For example, here's how to fight dust allergens. Put a casing on your pillow and mattress. Wash your sheets in warm or hot water once a week. Vacuum every day if possible, and change your air filter every month. Another age-old treatment is to use a neti pot for rinsing your sinuses with warm salt water.
I like the movement of going back and looking at the wisdom of the ages and then applying a little science and a little testing to it to know whether it's safe for people to use.
If you have a cold or the flu, you can usually treat it at home, which over time saves lots of trips to the doctor, because on average, preschoolers get 8 colds a year and everyone else about 3. Since there's no cure, the best medicine is to make yourself as comfortable as possible until it runs its course. A humidifier is a cheap and safe way to relieve coughs, congestion, and sore throats. Just make sure to clean it to prevent the growth of mold or bacteria. Gargling with warm salt water several times a day will help a sore throat. And believe it or not, chicken soup can make a difference. It's a proven anti-inflammatory, reduces mucus in the respiratory tract, and relieves congestion. You can possibly shorten the duration of a cold or flu by taking high doses of vitamin C, zinc lozenges, or the herbs echinacea and andrographis. Fevers, on the other hand, can be tricky. Those under 101 degrees should not be treated with medicine because low-grade fevers actually help the body eliminate a virus. But
if your child has a fever over 104, we think that's a time that it really is, you do need to go in and talk to the doctor and see. If you're an adult and you've got a fever and it's less than 101, we're comfortable with you watching it. If it's over 101, we're comfortable with you treating it with something like acetaminophen at home and caring for yourself. But if it stays at 101 or keeps coming back for a couple of days, then we do think you need to go see your doctor and try to figure out.
And no matter what time of year it is, millions of Americans need a little pain relief or a good night's sleep. Doctors say chili pepper seed, when used as a rub, is the most effective way to ease aching joints. And for insomnia, try a lavender fragrance and drink milk.
There's an amino acid in milk called tryptophan that helps make people sleepy. So we can do some things our grandparents would tell us to do. Have a glass of milk before you go to bed.
So take it from the experts. With a little know-how, home remedies can save you time and money.
That's all the time we have for this edition of Healthy Living. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.